Hello and welcome back to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel I suppose the aftermath of the final Premier League game of the 2021-22 season, a season which we are all delighted, I'm sure, to see the back of. Uh, Everton have been beaten 5-1 by Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium in a game where I think a lot of people have been invested in more games more heavily, I think it's fair to say. I'd be lying if I said I was completely invested in this game. I was sort of flicking between a few games, to be honest. There's a lot of, with it being a dead rubber, there was a lot of intrigue going on elsewhere in the league table, shall we say, and we'll just leave that there. But yeah, obviously it's always disappointing. It's always disappointing to lose your last game of the season. It's the second season in a row where we've conceded 5 goals on the final day. It was never a nice feeling to go out with a whimper, but I think it's just another one on the chin, isn't it? With everything that we've been put through this season, and it like I said, our season ended on Thursday night with those scenes against Crystal Palace to confirm our survival. Um, and there you go. There's not much else to say about that, is there? There's obviously we go to the Emirates. It was always going to be a tough ask. Arsenal had a lot to play for themselves. It was very much in the hands of Tottenham that they were going to qualify for the Champions League. It turns out that Tottenham won emphatically as well, so Arsenal just missed out. But any sort of hope of Arsenal maybe feeling the pressure or maybe hearing the news that Spurs were winning um, may, may have affected their performance. I think any hopes of that were squashed quite early on because I thought Arsenal played really well. Fair play to them. They're a good side with great players, and they did a professional job on us today, as many people would probably expect them to do, with a season like we've had. But yeah, not an awful lot to say about this game really, other than I don't know. It's hard, isn't it? Because so many people's heads are still in Goodison Park. I don't think everyone's quite fully comprehended Thursday night yet. So this game was just more like yeah, it felt like a bit of a pre-season game, to be honest. It was just nice to watch a game and not have to worry that we could find ourselves playing championship football by the end of it. And I think what I will say about this game, and not just this game, the fixtures and the results elsewhere, it was a good job we did beat Crystal Palace. And I think it just amplifies that second half performance against Crystal Palace even more. Because if we didn't put in the performance we did in the second half against Crystal Palace, then Everton would be relegated today. There's no two ways about it. We'd be sitting here talking about Everton's relegation. Fortunately, that hasn't happened. We took care of ourselves at Goodison Park. But yeah, Leeds. What about Leeds with that win? Who would have thought they were going to stay up and obviously Burnley get dragged into it, and they're officially gone now. So the three relegated teams are Norwich, Watford, and Burnley. And, oh, you know what? It feels so good to say those words following that game at Turf Moor. But yeah, the game Everton couldn't really get into the game in the early stage. It was all Arsenal. Actually, before we get into the game, we'll just talk about the team. It was a heavily rotated side. Frank Lampard put out, which I think it didn't come as a surprise to a lot of people. Asmir Begovic started in goal. I believe only his second start in the Premier League for us. Conceding 5 goals doesn't exactly cover himself in a lot of glory. But we also saw John Joe Kenny come into the side. Gareth Brandwaite was back from suspension. And probably the standout name was Dele Alli. I think it was expected that he'd get a start today, not only because obviously he's playing Arsenal and he has a few. He's not the most popular man in North London, is he? Given his exploits with Tottenham. But yeah, Dele Alli finally got his first Everton start. Abdoulaye Doucouré remained in the side, and of course Tom Davis as well, which is quite encouraging to see Tom back in the side after missing pretty much 90% of the season. So it was good to see him get a run out. And then of course we had Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Jamari Gray playing up front. And early on, Everton give a penalty away. Alex Iwobi, a rather contentious one, I think, with a handball. I think a lot of people straight away were thinking back to the Rodri handball, how that was deemed not a penalty, and then this one and Alex Iwobi. I think it's a pen, to be honest. I think it is a pen, but um, then Martinelli scores 1-0 and Arsenal are well up for that then. Then Nketiah makes it 2-0. And, I think that was good night Vienna at that point. Um, like I said, there wasn't really anything riding on it for us. It was just more like a day out for the fans. I know a few are staying over in Arsenal. So it was a day out for them, wasn't it? We were never going to really trouble Arsenal today. It was encouraging. One thing I will say is Donny van der Beek obviously came on. Probably the last time we'll see him in an Everton shirt, if we're being honest with ourselves. It was nice to see him get a run out. Um, Probably the last we will see of him. I fully expect him to go back to Manchester United. I'm pretty sure he'll be in Eric Ten Hag's plans. But yeah, he comes on. I think he came on for the Core, I believe. Um, and he scored. He got his goal. Dominic Calvert-Lewin does really well for the goal. He holds the ball up well, and he fizzes it across the box. It's a great weighted pass, and no one's picking up Van der Beek, and he makes contact with it, and it's an open goal, and it's 2-1. And yeah, at this point you're thinking, oh, maybe there's a game of it still here. We go in 2-1 down at half time, and a lot of people are saying, well, we've won 3-2 once already this week. Why don't we make it another one? But it just wasn't meant to be, was it? Let's be quite honest with ourselves. Arsenal came out and just blitzed us in the second half. Goals from Cedric, Gabriel, and Odegaard sealed the 5-1 victory for Arsenal. I do apologise that I can't go so in depth and talk through the goals and everything like that, because, like I said, to be honest, I wasn't 100% watching the game. I was sort of flicking through, as I say. I was watching what was going on, obviously, with the title race and the relegation places. Obviously, made for some good entertainment. But yeah, there we go. Season's over. I don't think anyone will be too lose any sleep over the season being over. I can't remember ever being so happy that a campaign has come to an end. We finished 16th. Obviously, we had the chance to finish 15th. Obviously, if we picked up something today, we would have moved into 15th, which of course is an extra couple of £1 million. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest achievement for us is that we have retained our Premier League status, which is the main thing, of course, because we would have bitten our hands off. I would have bitten someone's hand off if they said we would finish 16th on 39 points a few weeks ago. So we finished 16th. The season's over. Now we can just look forward now. Semi-chance, but good to see the season end because we have so much work to do to get this club sorted. He also goes on to say defensive additions will obviously be key. Yeah, of course they will. Defensive additions will be key. We saw, leaking too many goals, and I'm sure that'll be addressed. But now's the time just to sigh a big sigh of relief, and just rejoice in the fact that we've seen the back of the 21-22 season. And, we have no choice now but to look forward. But the main thing is, of course, we will be playing Premier League football next season. That's the biggest thing to take away. And the hard work starts now. Now the jury can be out. Now the questions can be asked of why this season happened and why we are where we are. But it is what it is. We finished 16th. No one will ever look back at this season again. I think this season is a stain on the history of our club. I just hope more than anything else, lessons can be learned. I did a stream the other day with Edward in the wake of the Crystal Palace match, and what one key point that we kept reiterating was it's got to be a watershed moment, hasn't it? This season, the lessons have to be learned to ensure this never happens again, and it remains to be seen. Time will tell on that front, but yeah, there you have it. No more football now. Until the summer. It'd be interesting to see what the club will get up to over the summer. I'm sure we're gonna see a lot of outgoings. Obviously, question marks still remain over certain players, whether they played their last game for the club. Did we see the last of Dominic Calvert-Lewin today? We've seen the last of Richarlison, of course, not involved today after picking up a minor injury. So, yeah, it's all very. It's a weird feeling now. Now the season's finished, it's a great deal of relief, which is something which a lot of people have been talking about. So, yeah, now we just sit back, enjoy ourselves. No more stressed out weekends. We can actually enjoy our Saturdays now. So there you have it. Now just watch this space in terms of what happens with the club over the summer. Well, ingoings, outgoings. It's going to be a big one. Maybe not just on the field, off the field as well. A lot of questions still to be answered in terms of the board, the direction the club's going, the owners' take on everything, and how the manager is going to work with the new director of football. So, but of course, I say again, the main thing is that we're safe. Today was a dead rubber. There's a lot of entertaining football going on today at both ends of the table. So I suppose you can be forgiven for maybe not being 100% invested into this match. I say, I apologise. This isn't a very in-depth video. I apologise. This isn't very, analytic or whatever else. But the main thing is Everton is safe. We've been beaten 5-1 on the last day of the season. Really unfortunate, but thank God that we didn't have to get something, because that would have been a disaster. So yeah, they have it. Everton have been beaten 5-1 at Arsenal, but the main take, of course, the season is over. And stay tuned to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of content coming up over the summer, um, discussing transfers, anything else that goes on. Sure, we'll cover all bases as far as that goes. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Sorry it's only a short, brief video, but yeah, all the best, everyone. Take care, and we can just rejoice in the fact the season is now over. Take care.